Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, honored guests, faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ralph Stern. I am Dean of the Faculty of Architecture at the University of Manitoba. I am honored to be reading the citation for this ceremony. The highest honor the Senate of a university can confer upon an individual is an honorary doctorate. At the University of Manitoba, the criteria include distinguished achievement in scholarship, the arts, or public service. Our honorary graduate this morning is Mr. Douglas Cardinal. As the creative mind behind some of Canada's most iconic buildings, Douglas Cardinal is recognized for his bold vision and commitment to his Indigenous heritage. Born in Alberta of Metis and Blackfoot heritage, Mr. Cardinal created an Indigenous sensibility in architecture marked by smooth organic lines and influenced by his Canadian and Aboriginal heritage. His visionary work has earned him accolades around the world and 8 honorary doctorate degrees from Canadian universities. He earns his 9th today from the University of Manitoba. His creative process involves a strong community-oriented philosophy in which he involves elders and community leaders to influence his design's conceptual development. One of his most famous works is the Canadian Museum of Civilization in Hull, Quebec, which earned him numerous awards, including the Governor General's Award in Visual and Media Arts in 2001. Graduating with a degree in architecture from the University of Texas in Austin in 1963, Mr. Cardinal's creative vision began to take shape in Western Canada, where he designed St. Mary's Church in Red Deer, Alberta. This design is reminiscent of Frank Gehry's Guggenheim in Bilbao, Spain, except that Mr. Cardinal's church predates the Guggenheim by almost 4 decades. The church is made of brick, and every wall, even the roof, is curved. Other works by Mr. Cardinal include the Grand Prairie Regional College, the Edmonton Space and Science Center, the Government Services Center in Panuca, Alberta, First Nation University of Canada, and Thunderbird House here in Winnipeg, amongst many others. Mr. Cardinal's unique pioneering style of architecture, rich in curvilinear forms, evokes the Canadian landscape and his Aboriginal ancestry. He believes that the design of buildings is a spiritual endeavor which demands collaboration and respect. And as his visionary creations grow ever more complex, Mr. Cardinal began innovating the design process by incorporating computers into it, digital design. He was one of the first architects in Canada to do so. In 1983, he was elected a Fellow of the Royal Architectural Institute of Canada. In 1990, he was awarded the Order of Canada. In 2003, he was elected a member of the Royal Society of Canada. Mr. Cardinal is recognized today for being an innovator, a creator, a visionary, and a trailblazer. Mr. Chancellor, it is an honor for me to ask on behalf of the Senate of the University of Manitoba that you confer upon Mr. Douglas Cardinal the degree of Doctorate of Laws honoris causa. Thank you.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor of this university, I admit you to the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations, Dr. Cardinal.
This is a great honor. Thank you. Thank you, President, Provost, Chancellor, fellow colleagues, and fellow students, because I'll always be a student. There's so much to learn. It was an honor standing here with the traditions and the robes that I find in my European ancestry. My mother was German. She wanted to make sure that I was trained in the arts and in music and in sculpture and painting and architecture. So I honor my mother and her traditions, which I stand here as part of her traditions. I have the wonderful honor of listening to the songs of our First Nations here. And I honor my father, who was First Nations. And it's wonderful to have those two worldviews represented here in this graduation. My father's clan was the warrior clan, the warriors who were the first chargers and the good strikers, the ones who went into battle first with nothing but acoustic. They'd touch a vulnerable part of the enemy that was on their territory and say, "You're on my territory, but you are my brother. You're a husband and father. And I must show you love and respect, even though you are my enemy on my territory." So the first chargers believed that human beings should not kill a member of their own species. And they put all their lives on the line so that they would respect the will of the Creator. The spiritual warriors were my father's clan. And I was trained by the elders to be part of that clan. My Indian name is Menakanabe, the war chief and peacemakers of the blood tribe of the Blackfoot Nation. I'm very proud and happy to be part of that culture as well, that have had their roots in this land for thousands of years. To be able to ride in the battle and put everything on the line for love, for peace, for harmony is the role of the first chargers and the good strikers. So I believe that we have together a wonderful future with the immigrant culture that came to this land and the First Nations here. But unfortunately, we still have apartheid in Canada. South Africa was modeled after Canada. And Canada, South Africa has got rid of their apartheid policies, but Canada has not yet addressed it. So there's two laws in this country, one for all the people that have come here on this land, and another law for the Indigenous people who don't have the rights and privileges of other Canadian citizens. In my generation, we are unable to change that. In your generation, you will change that, because I believe that in your hearts you understand that we are all brothers and sisters on this land, and we have to work together. The important thing I feel, is to realize in all these hierarchical cultures that we have here on this planet, that the soft power of love is far more powerful than the hard power of force. And when we realize that and become in harmony with each other as human beings, and most of all, when we become in harmony with this earth, our Mother Earth, then we'll be able to fulfill the seventh prophecy of the elders, that is coming together in a circle of all nations and a culture of peace so that we can light the eighth fire. In this we work together with love and caring for our planet and each other. There'll be no future for your children. So it is your destiny to change it for all of us. We may have laid the foundation in our generation, but you're the ones that are going to carry it through. So I wish you the challenge that the Spirit imbues in all of us, that of becoming the spiritual warrior and riding into battle with loving and caring. I thank you.